Right, hi, welcome to the Romford International Film Festival. We have with us Clare-Louise English and Jo Sargeant.
Hello.
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 So Clare-Louise is director, writer, and Jo is writer, actor.
Yeah, and designer.
And designer on a wonderful short called My Darling Christopher. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
One or both of you, could you briefly tell us what My Darling Christopher is about?
So My Darling Christopher is the story of a young boy called Clive who got meningitis a couple of months after the war broke out, World War II, and lost both his sight and his hearing. And it's the story of his mother's, basically it's a love letter from his mother to his father, telling him how their boy's getting on in his recovery, in his learning sign language, and it's got a little dramatic moment in it as well.
Yeah, specifically talks about a plane crash, a plane that crashes near to Clive's school, narrowly misses the school. How we explore that is through visual vernacular. So the film combines English with subtitles at BSL visual vernacular. But you'll probably ask us a question about that.
That's absolutely fine. You just carry on. Can I ask where that really happened?
That's Goring-on-Thames, the school, because he was evacuated from Margate School for the deaf to a school in Goring. Yes. So that's where the plane crash was.
So you wrote this wonderful short film. When did you become aware of it, though? And which one of you, or did you both have this magical sort of moment where you went, I found out this great idea?
So I met Clive when I was learning BSL. He came in to tell us his story so that we could practice, watching a story being told in BSL, which was magical. And I was sat there and completely drawn into his tale of his entire life. I mean, this is just a small, tiny section. And I went and told Claire, because we've been making theatre together for 9 years, and I said we need to
tour. And I remember it vividly. We were on tour, and we were in a very nice hotel for a change. And we were touring a theatre show, and Jo said, I've met this guy, and he's amazing, and his life story is just incredible, and we need to make a film. And I was like, Jo, we make theatre, we don't know how to make a film. What are you talking about? And that was years ago. And we sort of came to the conclusion, well, we'll wait for now. We'll just carry on in the theatre, and when the time is right, we'll make a film. And then COVID happened, and we were supposed to be we were going to make it as a theatre show.
Yeah, we were going to make it into a physical theatre piece.
Because
we decided
to
do that.
And we couldn't do it. And the festival that was going to have the theatre piece said, is there any way you could maybe do something online instead? And I suppose we could maybe do a bit of the story, and maybe we could write a script, and before we knew it, we were making a short film.
Fantastic.
Not knowing what we were doing.
Not knowing what we were doing.
That's great.
And we still don't.
That's inspirational for everybody watching. That if they get ideas, they can turn into something quite magical. They can. And Clive's still with us, I'm really pleased to hear, which is wonderful news.
89 years old.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy.
And he's at the end of the film.
Yeah, he is. He's a little snippet of him.
Snippet of him at the end there, which is fantastic. And what moved me watching the film was it's kind of this little tiny brief moments we see of a couple of people and their lives at that moment. But it made me reflect. It made me reflect on my good fortune, where I am now in this place, what people went through in the past, and sometimes we can't conceive of what people go through. It's so hard to walk in someone else's shoes, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I think, for me, it made me reflect on all of that. So it was a really moving piece, And Clive was played by William Grint.
Yes, the brilliant William Grint,
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's
Brilliant
wonderful.
Yes, well, in fact, they were both great. They were incredible, because we had Brian Duffy blowing us away on screen. Absolutely amazing piece of acting. And you use lots of mediums to convey what you want to say, don't you?
Yeah.
Could you talk us through that?
Yeah.
Yes, so we've got the main sort of vehicle is the letter. So that is a voiceover in spoken English. We then have what we're calling creative subtitles.
Yep.
So our plan is to, and this is kind of our first experiment into how we might go with creative subtitles in the future. We wanted to take them away from being, you know, the traditional at the bottom of the screen, so you have to sort of look between the actor and the subtitles, and we wanted to put them in the action, and we wanted to make them part of the aesthetic of the film. So the subtitles are done, you know, as if in the handwriting of the letter. So it's about the access being part of the film and part of the storytelling and almost another character within it, and completely integrated and not a distraction, that sometimes people say. So that's the English and the subtitles, and then you've got BSL, British Sign Language, which William, playing the young Clive, uses. And then we have a thing called Visual Vernacular, which is what Brian Duffy, the pilot, uses. And that is, I describe it as an intricate form of mime that's used within the deaf community.
Yeah,
that's
we call it.
how I would.
I know that Brian describes it as almost like the 4K of mime.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you were to have mime as being HD, and then you have visual vernacular.
I've got to say, this could have been part. The whole thing was wonderful, but I'd never actually seen that to that degree, anything like that. Obviously, I'm familiar with BSL, but
it's so cinematic.
And everything, every moment, from the person getting in to putting the mask on to the engine starting, everything, every bit.
But we also added to that, and Adrian, our sound technician, added to that to make it more accessible for hearing audiences as well, because hearing audiences may not have come across visual vernacular, and they may be like, oh, what's this? So adding in the layers with the sound to make it more accessible for hearing
multiple
audiences
layers
as
there.
well. So
You had the aeroplanes, all the sound, beautiful score, you had the strings going there at that moment. It's a really lovely piece, really beautiful.
I just love the way for us, it conveyed something that we would never have had the funds to be able to do. But the way that it's so cinematic that one person can be at any one time and all the same time, both the pilot in the cockpit, both the kind of long distance shot of the plane, and then being the plane himself. It was just, I developed a new level of appreciation for the language actually using it in film.
And when he sent it to us, we both cried when he sent us the clip. We were
it's an incredible moment. And you make, and another layer you add in is the fact that it's black and white and colour. It's colour in front of black and white, which is incredibly impactful because we're looking back at what happened, and yet he's telling that story. It's another moment. So, what is that noise? Just a sec.
I think they've stopped.
They could be coming in that door in a second. Or maybe not.
Oh, I think they've gone up.
Could be security. So, just before we wrap, are you going any further with this concept, or have you got something different, or are you going to develop this even further?
I mean, we're working on a lot of projects at the moment, but we're writing the feature of this story, because there aren't that many deaf stories out there, and this is a really special one. You know, how many wartime deaf stories do you hear? And you know, wartime from a deaf perspective. So we are currently writing the feature at the moment and chipping away at that one. It
will have all the subtitle. It will take us further into that subtitle, creative subtitle world. And we wanted to also show the audience what it was like for deaf people in the war at that time, and the experiences that they had. Some of them were given, you know, white feathers because they couldn't sign up because they were deaf. They weren't allowed to, so people treated them as if they were cowards and things like that. So there's a lot of really meaty things, and there's a couple of love stories as well in there. So
well, we so much look forward to seeing it and wish you every success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for submitting to the festival.
Thank you for having us.
For doing this interview. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.